with Patrick are the quads, and in all of these updates, I'm not seeing, you know, any quads, right? And maybe that's for a reason. Everyone else so far we've seen their quads, but he's keeping them hidden. So that gives me a little bit of a red flag. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Muscle Discord. And I'm going to do my 2024 UK Pro Show top 5 predictions. And now this is a pretty decent lineup, right? It's the last qualifying show for the Mr. Olympia coming up in October. And as we know by now, Rubio Mascara, aka Nexzilla, is not in the show. Now, if he was doing this show, I think he could have probably won the show if he came in a lot tighter than he was in Dubai. But he's not there. He's going to do the Prague Pro show after the Olympia, and we're going to see him there. So it is what it is. We're not going to see Rubio for a little bit longer. But let's jump into it. You can see the list here. You got Morgan Ernst from France again doing this. These are just people that I'm kind of eyeing. So I'm just going to go through the people that I'm eyeing on the list. Lewis Breed, obviously Ali Edwards. He had visa issues, so he couldn't do the Italy Pro last weekend, which is unfortunate. I don't think he would have won that show, but he would have been in the mix for sure. You got Lorenzo's back in this one. He got 5th at the Italy Pro. We got Patrick Moore, who's been away from the stage for a few years now. He had an Achilles heel rupture, and that took him out, which was unfortunate because he has an issue with the legs already. So that, we're going to get into that. We got Andrea Presti, not Andrea. I'll get this one right. He's coming back from a 2nd place finish at the Italy Pro from last weekend. So that's exciting to see him back here. He's trying to punch that ticket to the Olympia. Pretty sure he may be able to do it, but we're going to talk about that. And then we also have Bruno. He was 4th at the Italy Pro. He's jumped into the show. And then we have someone I'm looking at is William Martins. Okay. We're going to talk about that in a second. So let's jump into my 5th place prediction. And that is going to be Mr. William Martins. Now, I know Bruno just came off a 4th place finish in Italy, but I just think that Martins has so much more size than Bruno, and this was just 3 days out from the UK Pro. Then that he's probably just going to overpower Bruno and push Bruno out into probably that 6th place position. I could be wrong. Again, this is a prediction. So we're going to see where he ends up. But now this was 4 days ago. The hair is looking a little frizzy there. That's prep mode right there. But he's got so much mass that I just think that Bruno can't hang with that. Yes, his midsection is a little on the thicker side. In some of the front poses, like right here, you can see a little thicker. But I think, once he tightens it down and gets on that stage, he's going to be pretty freaky. He can maybe move up here. We're going to see. So I have William Martin in my 5th place spot at the UK Pro Show. Going into 4th place, I have Lewis Breed, who's coming off a strong top 5 finish at the Texas Pro this year. He placed 3rd last year at the Tampa Pro, so he's a threat. He's a threat, and he's coming in condition, as you can see here. This was 9 days out from the UK Pro here. Vascular. I think the quads could be a little bit fuller and bigger. But really, upper body wise, he is on the money, not really missing anything upper body wise. Look at this conditioning, the grainy conditioning that he brings. I just see the quads do need a little bit more thickness, as you can see there in the side quad. That's just, you can't hang with some of these guys that I'm going to mention here in a second. But conditioning wise, he always is on point with the conditioning, and so I have him edging out William Martin. Even though he's going to be, not as large standing next to William, I just think his conditioning is just going to be on another level compared to William, and he's going to edge him out and get into that fourth place spot. All right, going in, this is tough. I'm going to mention my third place spot here. And the only reason I'm doing this, let's just jump into it. It's going to be Mr. Patrick Moore. Okay. Now, like I said earlier on, he's had a hiatus from the pro stage. And so he's kind of a wild card. We don't know. He's not as seasoned now because he's been away from the stage. So how is his body going to look after he jumps on that flight? I've done that flight, that 10-hour plus flight to the UK. Get off that plane, you gotta acclimatize. Your body might be holding some water. You're not adjusted. It's a new area for you. How is he going to handle all that? And he hasn't been on this on the stage for a while. And the main thing with Patrick are the quads. And all of these updates, I'm not seeing any quads, right? And maybe that's for a reason. Everyone else so far, we've seen their quads, but he's keeping them hidden. So that gives me a little bit of a red flag. Maybe they look tremendous. Maybe he's got the shredded glutes. We don't know. He looks very sharp up top. The delts are striated. It's vascular, hardness to the muscle. So I'm impressed with how his upper body is looking. But he's done that before. He's had that look before, and then he hasn't came through on that stage, and those glutes and the hamstrings are kind of soft and weren't showing the hardness that his upper body is showing. So that being said, because Patrick has been away from the stage for quite a while now, and he may be a little bit rusty, he may be a little bit, short on his feet, so to speak, especially with the conditioning from the back and the glutes and the hamstrings, which has been, no pun intended, his Achilles heel. And, so that's why I can't put him up above the guys I'm going to talk about next, because they've been on the stage, they've been putting in the work, they've been consistent, and we're going to see how he stacks up to them. He's got a tremendous physique, but I can't. He's too much of a wild card to put him in that top spot. Does he have the potential to win a pro show again? Yes, but he's got to get his bearings back, I think, and this will be a good test run for him to do. Last qualification spot before the Olympia. We're going to see how he does. Now, in my second place prediction, I have Mr. Ali Edwards. This guy, is on another level. He's got crazy genetics. Conditioning is on point. He peaked perfectly for the Dubai Pro, where he came in 5th next to Rubio. But this is a tough one for me to put him in second, because he does have the potential to win this show. I just think structurally, standing next to the guy, I'm going to mention, you're going to watch to the end to see who's going to be first, that he may be lacking in the width, in the clavicle area. He is kind of narrow in his clavicle. You can see when he does the hands on, the clasped hands, most muscular, he's a little narrow in the clavicle. So I think he's going to be overpowered in some of those shots by the competitor I'm going to be mentioning next in my first place position. But Ali Edward, man, he has so much potential. He comes in shredded. That chest is so striated and shredded. But you can see there, he's a little narrow. But the quads, he's got great quads. Conditioning is on point. So this is going to be a battle. If this next person, let's just jump into it. Mr. Andrea Presti, who got second to Hunter Labrada, who I thought maybe could potentially have beaten Hunter. I just did not like the way Hunter looked. The abs were all messed up. They were all jacked up. And he wasn't as impressive as I expected Hunter to be. But Hunter pulled off that win and punched his ticket to the Olympia. So now Andrea has to get his ticket to the Olympia. And I think he's going to get it. I do have him in my first place spot. If he comes in even tighter, which you think he would, I think he can really solidly win this show. You can see that, you know, the width and the delts, great chest development. The quads obviously aren't going to be, in my opinion, as good as Ali's, but he's just got so much, you know, size. He's going to be bigger bodybuilder standing next to Ali. He's going to have the conditioning to stand next to Ali. The side chest, I think he's going to beat him in. Back double bicep is going to be close, but I'm sure when you see him standing side by side, it's going to be a comparable good shot for Andrea. And even though he needs to work on that back, it's going to be close in some of these poses. Rear lat spread, most muscular shot. He's definitely going to beat Ali in. So I just think that this is Andrea's show to win. And I'm pretty confident in my prediction, but you know what? These are predictions. Anything can happen. If he comes in a little bit off, Ali Edwards can slide in there and get that first place spot. And I would love to see Ali at the Olympia because he's got such potential. Like, it's the conditioning is on point. He knows how to peak right for the stage. Good presentation on stage with his posing. You know, just needs to obviously, like we all say, you got to put on some size, but that means put on some size over time, right? We don't mean rush it. I mean, do it like the guys back in the day used to do it. Chris Cormier, Milos, all of them. They did show after show. They weren't so worried about, oh, I got to get huge. I got to get huge. They just did it slowly year over year versus guys like, say, Tony O'Burton that's say, I got to take a year off and I'm going to skip out on the Olympia because I got to get bigger because the judges told me to get bigger. Sure, you got to get bigger. You did from last year. So why don't you compete at the Olympia? You got to keep competing, guys. Stop taking time off. Just go through the process, enjoy the process, and get bigger slowly year after year. Improve yourself. Get on that stage. Get that experience. Enough with this taking time off to try and put on tons of muscle. It's going to ruin your physique in the end by doing it that way. So anyways, guys, that's my top 5 prediction for the 2024 UK Pro Show. Guys, who do you have in your top 5? Do you agree that you think Andrea is going to win the show? Do you think Ali can win? Right? Maybe Louis Breed can pop up in there. Leave a comment below, guys. I appreciate it. Remember to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already done so. All right, guys. I really appreciate you. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.